In the big rock candy mountains, there's a land that's fair.
It's been a rough few days. I'd thought at long last my period of unemployment had come to a close, that I could finally say goodbye to all the stress I felt after getting laid off from my full-time videography job when I was awarded what was essentially my dream job last week. Turns out, it was a scam. And I'm not even talking scam in the way that the job and organization were technically legal and legitimate and I was just getting ripped off or taken advantage of. No, this was a literal scam to try and get my banking information and rob me. Luckily, they did not succeed. And even if they did, joke's on them, I've been unemployed for 6 months, there's nothing exciting in there anyway. Nonetheless, the entire aftermath of this has been a tumultuous existential nightmare that has made me question significant progress I've made in terms of my self-worth and hope for the future. Because of all this, I knew it would do me some good to head out to the cabin that I am incredibly fortunate to have in the family. I figured a couple of days here alone in the woods would help me regroup and reset in the serene peace and quiet.
I'm a-going to stay where you sleep all day, where they hung the Turk that invented work in the big rock candy mountain.
God, why? Why? Why?
Yeah, this is a new low. Supposedly, it was a junior video editor role for this animation company that did commercials for some pretty well-known companies. I was so inspired and so hopeful by the prospects of this opportunity that I actually started crafting an entire video around it. And I think the best way to portray the background of how I got to this point is just to read the notes that I jotted down for this video. I'm just gonna read the whole thing and probably chop it up in editing later to get to the main points. One thing that would solve all my problems is a remote job, especially in video editing. But the chances of me getting a remote job in video editing were next to none. This was a really defeating feeling that I kind of just came to acceptance on. I threw my name out to some video stuff, but it was mostly just because I had to keep New York unemployment insurance coming in. But 1 or 2 places actually got back to me. Even in my success in being a good enough candidate to get that call back was still caught up in negative self-talk. Like, they can give me low pay for low experience and low skills. But this is where the meat and potatoes is. A certain video came my way that completely changed my outlook on everything. A piece of media that I contributed to the greatest action I've taken in a long time to develop myself and improve my life. And it wasn't self-development, it wasn't self-improvement, it was music. Overcompensate by 21 Pilots released that day, and you bet I was on standby for the premiere of this video after considering them my favorite music artist for quite some time now. And shit hit. Most of their music is allegorical for breaking out of negative mental cycles and reinventing yourself. There's a line in Overcompensate that kinda changed everything for me. Overtake your former selves. A really simple concept when you think about it. This is why I would argue that traditional self-development material will never be as powerful as good storytelling. Because when you're emotionally invested in someone, whether fictional or grounded in reality, when you're subconsciously experiencing the development of a person as they are, that's where true inspiration lies. And that's what happened to me. I was emotionally moved by every element of Overcompensate. Within the day after watching this, I felt a stark, automatic, subconscious contrast. My former self had been overtaken. This is getting hard to read. The result of which was me completely revamping my portfolio, creating a stronger presence for myself on various freelancing sites, and just applying for everything that I saw. And let's put it this way, oh god. Overcompensate came out on February 29th, and on March 8th I signed on to a remote video editing position that, as far as I can tell at this time, is absolutely perfect for what I want out of this stage of my career and what I need out of life as a whole right now. God. The biggest things are reinvent yourself. You might be running on old data, Honestly, yeah, where I was at with my experience and what my portfolio was displaying 3 years ago wasn't getting me anywhere because I did still have growing to do. I did still have to prove myself, but somehow I ended up here all this time later without new information. Like, I grew in skill over the past 4 years. I have a more diverse and professional looking portfolio now. I developed skills in different fields of videography than I had before. This isn't even pump up affirmations or anything. These are just objective facts. Like, you can't get more objective than a resume. 21 Pilots did more to help me reinvent myself in 4 minutes than any of these books or YouTube videos like How to Reinvent Yourself, How to Change Your Life in a Week. The last thing I want to say, maybe, no, I can't even bring myself to go. I'm getting cold. I'm going back inside. So I bet you're just dying to know what actually happened here. I found this job on Upwork. It's a freelancing website. I threw my name out there. I was emailed 20 questions relating to video editing. I filled out my answers, expecting that to be just kind of like a preliminary, like, phone interview type thing. And in less than 2 hours, I got a message back saying, "Congratulations, you passed. Here's the details outlining your position." A lot of this is moving pretty quickly and a little informally, but you have to understand also that with the full-time job that I was working, that I got laid off from, how should I put this? Even with how quickly everything was moving, this guy was coming off more professional than my previous employer. If anything, he was kind of reminding me of my boss when I was working for local news. Like, very J. Jonah Jameson, very moving quickly, like, "Hey, you can hold the camera, press record. What do you mean job interview? This is a job interview. You're hired. Now go get me pictures of Spider-Man." I was thinking about how fast things were going at this time, and I was thinking about how kind of weirdly informal things were being. And that's really the time where in my head, like, kind of the alarms were sounding of, like, this is a scam. Or rather, like, the thought was, where's the catch? Because all this was, like, way too good to be true, I'm sure I have my journal around here somewhere. But allow me to read you something that I wrote as I was processing all of this. I literally feel like I'm dreaming. There's gotta be a catch. Maybe the catch is you can have this opportunity when you're basically 30, and once you've busted your ass for 8 years working shitty jobs for mostly shitty pay, and you've always been a standout everywhere you go, and your passion and innate understanding of all things filmmaking makes you worthy of an opportunity like this. We set it up to have some kind of onboarding meeting on the following Monday. Monday morning comes and no Zoom link, no word from literally anybody. I'm freaking out this entire time. Like, why would they tell me to, meet at this time? And nobody is showing up, especially when he said, like, I'd be meeting the team. That's also round 2 of, like, the scam alarm going off. I shot this guy an email being like, "Hey, look, I'm signing off for the day, and just tell me when we're rescheduling this. And also, if I can have the contact for my immediate supervisor in this role, that would be fantastic." He responds immediately, being like, "Hey, sorry, the meeting got pushed to Thursday. By the way, here's an NDA that I need you to sign, and I will be your immediate supervisor." Now we're getting closer to tipping the scale. He's been introducing himself to me as, like, head of HR or something like that, and in that email, he also titles himself project coordinator for the content creation team. And no, you are not the head of HR and project coordinator for a content creation team. That is not how this fucking works. And so I did the smart thing, and I went to the website for the company that I was applying for, which was a real company, by the way. This guy was using this existing company as like the means to scam people and to like, you know, build credibility with himself. So I email info at, you know, the company's name, basically saying like, hey, this might be the world's worst first impression, but I gotta know that this is not a scam. Very amazingly, the company did get back to me very quickly and was like, yeah, that's a scam. If that wasn't enough, lo and behold, a couple of minutes later, he did email me being like, all right, now it's time to move on to the payment information. I will just need these pieces of information: your bank account, your account number, your routing number, all these things. You know, I didn't even bother reading it after that. And look, it wasn't just those things that was sounding the alarm. There were plenty of moments now in hindsight that I'm like, oh yeah, this was totally a scam from the very beginning. If you're here for that kind of thing, I'm not going to waste any screen time like talking about it. But if you want to know the entire detailed story, you can press pause on the video in 3, 2, 1. Okay, moving on. Why was this such a big blow to me? I can tell you it wasn't because I had this feeling of like, oh my god, I've been working all my life to become the junior video editor at a mid-level animation company for part-time hours and, you know, pretty decent pay. Like, it was what I outlined in my journal. Just like, I really thought that maybe this was the payoff for 8 years of terrible work situations, but still putting my best foot forward, still like trying my best, still like wanting to make good work to prove to the next opportunity that like, hey, I can do this. And you know, just when I'm at my lowest, I get kicked when I'm down because one of the other job prospects that I was called back for, that I was interviewing for that day, the day that I realized this was all a scam, I got an email from them saying, sorry, it's not going to work out. We've moved on to a different candidate. So even the part of me that was, you know, writing before, like, oh, I've gotten further in this than I have ever before, that also just started to seem like that wasn't worth anything. Because I had convinced myself that, like, maybe I don't have to resort to a last resort. Maybe I can push forward and find, like, you know, the really good, ideal working situation for me right now. I've arrived at the point where I'm questioning, you know, did I just lie to myself this entire time? What this did leave me with was 5 days of feeling like my life was a lie. 5 days that I didn't spend working on more job applications. When I am running out of time for this, my unemployment insurance is going to run out soon. I need any opportunity that I can get. And also this hope of like, you know what, money's coming in. I'm gonna live a little bit. I'm gonna go into just a little bit of debt. I didn't do anything crazy, but like, wow, if I could really use some takeout right now. I'm gonna get takeout every day. And I made some really frivolous money decisions and just a whole lot of self-doubt and worthlessness and hopelessness and just feeling really fucking stupid.
We interrupt this program to bring you the special presentation of Dave is basically just an old-time hockey stan.
Well, hello there, buddy. Please, join us for some supper. My homemade beanie weenies, served with a cold pop. There you go, buddy. And a feature presentation. Thanks for stopping by, and until next time, please enjoy yourself.
We now return to our main program, Dave's Life Sucks.
I came back out here after getting literal cabin fever. It's a little cold, but figured this is how I'll I don't know, try to come to some kind of conclusion in all this. Everybody that I've talked to about this so far has, given me some really awesome and, well-meaning encouragement of like, you'll come out of this stronger and wiser than before. I'm just like, no, I fucking won't. Like, no, it doesn't. What is anybody supposed to gain from that? I don't feel I have become a better person because of this. I feel I have become a worse person because of this, as you can hear with, this very loaded, cynical rhetoric that I am sprinkling throughout this video. I don't know. Maybe I just said it right there. I've gained nothing positive from this experience. Yeah, maybe this experience has negatively affected me, and that I feel like a much more cynical and distrusting person. But did this experience make me a worse videographer? In the notes for the video that I thought this was going to be, I mention my self-talk, my perceptions of the work world, positive and negative, were ultimately really just still kind of based on objectivity. I'm still a better videographer, and I'm still a more suitable candidate for jobs that I really want now than I was before. Nothing has happened to negate the conclusion of I am worthy of a good working situation. In my head, the narrative is like, I told myself that I was worthy of being a good videographer, therefore I applied to a good videography job, but that job was fraudulent, therefore I didn't get the job, and I feel worse about myself now, therefore I don't deserve a good working situation, therefore I'm a bad videographer. When I put it that way, no, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense at all. It's funny, I noticed like the rhetoric that I just kind of used in that sentence. Pixar has a story spine. Every beat of their story has to be connected through the words, because of this, blank, then blank, and because of this, blank. South Park has like their storytelling rule. I think it's like the but therefore rule. If your story beats are connected through but and therefore, that means your story is dynamic and fluid and everything matters. But if your story beats have and so, in their words, you're fucked. Because if all your story beats are connected through this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens, the end. Like, that's not a good story. Life is not a story. Yes, you can take elements of life and self-contain parts of it, isolate other parts of it, and craft a story from there, but life breaks the storytelling rules all the time. I listened to the new 21 Pilots song, therefore I felt better about my career. Therefore I didn't limit the opportunities that I put myself out there for. Therefore I am talented and deserve a good work situation, and I got scammed. Like, that's not a very good or interesting story. That's not a well-told piece of media. To stick the unfortunate circumstance in there as, like, the and, that doesn't have anything to do with the rest of, like, the plot thread. No, the ending to that story might not be, therefore he got a good job, therefore he felt good about himself. But to stick the and he got scammed, therefore everything that he told himself before was all for nothing, therefore he did not succeed in getting a good job. Like, from that storytelling point of view, it makes no sense. It is not a good story at all. If I have to get a job that I don't want, if I have to get a job that isn't going to pay well, if I have to get a job that is far below what I'm capable of, it's not because some asshat scammed me online. It's not because I failed at overtaking my former self. But hey, just because I came to a good conclusion about this doesn't mean that someone isn't off the hook.
I think it's time for a little scammer payback.
Hey! Scammer! If you're listening, well, listen up! I know you have my YouTube channel because I sent you my reel, and if you're watching this, you were really mean when you scammed me like that. You shouldn't do things like that. It hurts people's feelings and makes them spend money that they thought that they had but were going to get but they didn't have because they weren't going to get it. You big stupid head. Ah! I sure showed him.